Well, welcome to Paulette's Paper Play, and this time I have the Arden Creative Studio, which is a brand new company, and Vintage Makers is the collection. So I've got all of these, and this is one of the projects that I'll be showing you, and you can see that shimmer and shine. I'll show you how we got that. So please come play with us. Before I get into the projects, let me just show you a bit about this product. So to begin with, there are these papers. They are 24 sheets, and they're 6 inches by 8 inches, 6 inches by 8 inches. Let me just flip through them. There are thumbnails on the back of the package, but probably that's too tiny for you to see right now, so let's go look at these. You do get 2 of each. They are double-sided, as you can see. And this is very much a collage looking collection to me. So that's kind of what I did on many of the projects. And there you go. Maybe I'll just do it like this. Okay, so as I said, you get 2 of each. You've got some big greeting cutouts and text stripes, this, which I used. And then you also have, there were 2 sheets of that. You have these sheets that are die cut. And what's interesting is they've got words on this side, but they're blank on the other side. So you can put dazzles, you can stamp, you can use, you can use them for anything, which is nice. The same thing is true of these. These have words in them, but on the back side they're blank. So that's nice. And we've got big dots, and we've got grid line, flourish. See what I mean about the collagey looking? This one too. Okay, so those are the sheets. Now, in this vellum ephemera, there are a whole bunch of 39 dies. What I thought was interesting is that the vellum we have from other companies is thinner than this, and this is quite substantial, but it does have that translucent look. So that's kind of a nice thing too. And as a matter of fact, I did use this piece, so I might as well just set it right there for the moment. 39 pieces, so that's nice. And in the laser cuts, love laser cuts, and you can see the 4 sheets that they have, but just to give you a nice big look. And I met with Deidre, who is the product manager, and she was very proud of the fact that these are double-sided. And when I was in the booth talking to her, I thought, okay, well, big deal. I didn't really see the need for it, but I will tell you, and Deidre, I am telling you publicly that I was wrong, that you were right, that it is very nice that they are double-sided because, and here's one example, see how these all have greetings? Okay, on the other side they don't. Same thing with these down here. And the words, they don't have them. The other thing that I love most is that you can take something that has a curve like this, flip it over, and it's curved the other way, which just gives you more design possibilities. So Deidre was right, and I should have been much more, oh wow, what a neat idea. So I owe her that for another time. Okay, we're gonna go into the cards, and we'll get in closer so you can see. Now, this is that one of the dots that is in the collection, and there is the full sheet. You can see that kind of scuffy look. And I decided that I wanted to use it in the full 6 inches wide, so I turned my card on with the fold at the top. So it's 5 by 6.5 inches. And I pulled this paper, but I wanted to mat it. And greens are sometimes tricky. Other colors are tricky too. But what I found is that, I just went back to my old favorite, which is asparagus suede. And isn't it perfect? Yes, I think it's perfect. So I think this is the only card I used it on, but I did cut my piece and then I matted it on the asparagus. I did take a piece of the white ribbon and out of the white ribbon set and glued that down because as I played with these, I knew what I wanted to do. One thing I found is that the first time I laid this out, I did it all with a vellum. This is a vellum. This is a vellum. I had vellum sprays. It was too dull looking. I needed the punch of the laser. So that was nice. And here is this piece but turned this way. Again, that's what's nice about the double-sided, because Jidra was right. Okay, so I glued this piece down. The other thing with the vellum that she has is that because they're thicker, the glue doesn't show. So I thought that was really nice and interesting. Now, here in the US, we spell favorite without a U. In England, they don't. These are designed in England. But I thought my very favorite was fine, just however they did it. So I was able to glue one on top of the other. And then I just tucked this piece and this piece underneath to kind of give that, you know, it's kind of hugging that circle. The butterfly is chipboard, is laser cut, and that's foam taped on top. And I like the fact that this just had a little bit more color to it. And then I kind of needed a way to end this, so I just knotted this and zodded it in place. Even at that, it looked a little, you know, a little plainer for me. And so I added these dazzles, and these are from the Stitch Border Dazzles. This is a 4-pack that's got black, white, gold, and silver. You can see the white pieces there, and that worked very nicely. I thought it just finished it. Now, I was thinking about inking the edge of this. So I went to my swatch piece of paper, and these are all the greens that we have. I love Hunky Dory ink pads. I love the colors. I love the price. I love how long they last. But I wasn't sure if, you know, khaki was really the one, or muddy boots. So I took a little piece of this paper and I did muddy boots on it. And that's not bad. That's not bad, but I decided not to use it because I didn't love it next to the asparagus. So that was my call on it. You can make a different call if you like, of course. For the inside of the card, now, remember I told you that I showed you those cutouts. So this is the full sheet, and obviously you get 4. So I went Be Bold, Be You, and remember the laser? I just popped those out. So Be Bold, Be You, give everything, expect nothing, listen to your heart, don't let anyone dim your light. I did ink those with my blending brush and the muddy boots that I showed you, just a little bit, just so that they're not so white on the white card. I wanted them to show up a little bit more. And so that worked. Again, I matted this on the same asparagus and tucking those under. I wanted them to be connected literally and also visually. So that's why I did that. And I just kind of went through all of those messages that are on that sheet and just picked out the ones I wanted. And you notice it looks like there's stitching at the top. And I thought that played well with the stitched dazzles on the front of the card. Now, I may be the only one who noticed that, but it pleased me. So I hope it pleases you too. Okay, so that's my first card. And I'm going to tuck these over. And now for my second card. What I typically do is I lay out the papers and kind of choose which ones speak to me. And in this case, I absolutely loved this one. And I'll have to go back here to show it to you because I didn't have another one left. So there it is. Okay, and I just love that. I thought it was so pretty. And so I wanted to use it, but notice it really is over, obviously, on the corner. And I wanted to do something different. So I decided to, the other thing I really liked in this sheet, remember this is out of the book and it's plain on the back, it has these tags. And I thought, well, that's neat. And actually, I was sitting looking at all the goodies, having them all strung out on my table. And I happened to pick up this laser cut and put it on the tag. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. And it's the same flowers as is on this piece. So that worked nicely. So, okay, so I had the beginnings of an idea. So what I did is I took this paper and I thought that it did a nice job of giving a background but not overwhelming my tag, and doing a nice job of corresponding with this paper. So that was my decision. So I cut part of my card front, and I think I cut 2 inches off. But I will tell you, down below there are instructions. Just click on the card. You can print them off if you want to. There are instructions for all the cards, and it will tell you exactly what I did. So I just cut off that piece, and then I wanted to leave a white edge on my card, and I didn't mention that on the first card, but I did both of those. In fact, yeah, both of those, because there's white in here, and I wanted to play off of that. So you see the white ribbon, the white edge. I've got the white flowers, and I've got the white edge also. So when I cut this script piece down, I wanted to leave a white edge. So did that, glued it in place, and then I took the tag, and I did want to, because as you can see, if I put this on this, it's just going to disappear. So even with the splotches, it's really just going to disappear. So I set it on my craft mat. I took, this is Velvet Fawn I use all the time, and my blending brush, and just went over the edges about a ½ inch into that really pretty tag, and that worked nicely. And I did position it here so that it would be kind of hanging from this ribbon, which obviously is out of the brown ribbon set. Now, you may not think you're going to use brown ribbon very often, but I am surprised how often how often I'm calling for it. So just to share that with you. And so I just glued one piece. This is just folded, and I just glued it that way. I really, because I added that after I had done the paper, really, had I thought about it, I would have tucked the ends underneath. In fact, no, I didn't tuck them underneath, but that would have been a better thing. But you have to be planning ahead. See, you'll have the idea. I didn't. Okay, so that's going there. I did do the tag first, and then I did the ribbon. And I also took this little laser cut butterfly, because, you know, why not? And I let it sit on the shoulder of that tag, so that was nice. And this is typically how I end up doing things. Oh, one more thing. Then I did the laser, and notice I wanted those pieces to go outside the edge of the tag, but I didn't want them to potentially break off because they're really delicate. And they're just kind of sloping down to the card, so that's just fine. So when I was done, I didn't have anything on the ends, and I felt like I needed something to complement that brown. So I went into our thin line dies. Now this is the primary collection, so that's going to have all of those colors: blue, yellow, brown, green, red, and black. And I chose the brown, and I just let them rest on the edge of the paper. So I've got brown and brown. There's brown in the art, both of the paper and of the tag, and that pleased me. I wasn't sure what to do with this, because normally we tie a bow, and I cannot tell you how long I fiddled with that, but I ended up just tying a knot and letting that go down to the flower. So that worked nicely for me. Now for the inside of the card, I want you to notice that the papers line up exactly, and I think that's important. You want it to be visually connected. So I took that paper that I showed you and just put it in here, and I put more of the thin line dazzles. And you know what? I forgot to tell you something on the front. Okay, I did put a script dazzle down here. This is in green. Now we just came out with these collections in, let me think, red, blue, green, and brown. And so this is obviously the green, and I just put love. And again, I let it hang over the tag a little bit, but I really like the curved lines that are here. So we've got straight lines with the text, with the thin line dazzles, and with the ribbon, but we've got curved lines with this curving, with this branch curving, and with that curving. And I like that juxtaposition of straight lines and curved lines. Might be more than what you want to know, but that's all my thought process that went into this. So then on the inside, this is brown to match what I did on the front, and then these two are green, just because. And so as you saw, the paper had one butterfly, but I went into the laser cuts and I did play with larger butterflies, the same size. And when I closed the card, it looked overwhelming. It just looked like it was too much. You kind of didn't know where to look. Should you look at the 3 big ones or should you look at this big tag? So I found it better to have smaller sizes as it went up. And so nothing is fighting. It looks cohesive. So that's the reason why I did that. I hope this is helpful to you. So that's my second card. And we're going to go to my third card. And I have to tell you, my third card, initially it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it. What I was intrigued with is this card, or this paper, and I loved that line. And I thought how fun it would be to have words along that stem, and that would be, that would work well. So I covered my card, meaning that I took my card, I put glue all around the edge, and then I positioned my paper on it, pressed it down, turned it over, and trimmed it with scissors. And that way it's what I call covering a card. Then I went into the lasers, and there are, oh gosh, does it tell me how many? 90. There are 90 motifs in it. And there are many with this super thin stem, but they pop right out. And as I was playing with them, I noticed that on this one, in fact, let me show it to you here. There it is. It's really long and it's very fine, but it does pop out nicely. You might be a little intimidated by it because it is very fine, but it does pop out just really easily. And so I did glue it down onto the card, again, 5 by 6.5, but it was kind of empty at the bottom. You can see it's kind of empty at the bottom. So I took other pieces and glued them. Now, normally with lasers, I use sticky specks, but because that doggone stem is so fine, I didn't want to put it down on the sticky speck adhesive and then lift it up again. I just felt like that was playing with fire. So I used my glue stick. You can use Cosmic Shimmer, would be fine. In the final analysis, what I wish I would have done was to move this down and trim the end to let it be a little bit further down on the card. That may be no big deal to anybody, but anyway, that's kind of what I wish I had done. This is vellum, and this is vellum. So I just glued the middle part, and of course just the body right there too. The thanks is out of that brown dazzles. For some reason I don't have here. It's just like the green, except it's brown. And I did get my wish, was I wanted to have words along that stem, so that worked. Then I also wanted to do this technique because I love the foiling, and I discovered something. Well, let me first show you the foiling. So let me just quickly demo that. And I'm going to go back to a sheet. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I'll just use this little sheet. So this is copper, because copper and brown tones just are beautiful. I keep the pieces I've used in the back of the package just because you can keep using them. So, you don't want to throw anything away that you can still use. So let me pull one out. Okay. So what you do is to use glue stick. Glue stick is the thing that's going to make this work. And just rub it along the edge of your paper and take the foil, shiny side facing you, and just rub. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be uneven, and you want that because I think it has a better look. So look at that, how pretty. So what I did is when I first started this, I put the copper all the way around and did a little bit in this area, and it was too much. And I let that set for a couple of days, and I thought that's just too much. And I thought, okay, how can I remove it? So I took the penknife and I just scraped it away, and that worked. So I was pleased to know that because I hadn't done that before, and that just gives me another foolproof way that if something isn't quite how you wanted it, you can fix it. And that pleased me very much. So I, want to share the things that work and the things that don't work. Okay, so on the inside of my card, I just took another branch. This is another of the laser. And no, I lied to you. This is the vellum, but it's that long, fine stem again. Let it go at an angle. Did a little bit of the copper foiling at the bottom and on the side, and then sending hugs. So it's going to read, thanks, sending hugs, which I think is a nice way to say thank you. Okay, now we're going to go for my last card, which is a collage card, and I really had fun with this. I'm going to move the craft mat. And this is the one that I showed in the beginning, and as you can see, there we go, you can see it kind of sparkle and shine. Okay, so remember I said in the beginning that I felt that these papers were really collage-like. Let me show you what I used. I took this paper and really thought about it, and I knew I wanted to use this. Remember this from the opening? Okay, I knew I wanted to use this, but I wanted to play with the collage idea. So I wanted to have light, medium, and dark tones. So this is going to be my light tone. And I felt, gosh, if I put that there, I think that works. It looks very collagey. But that's not going to be the whole card. I didn't want to take the easy way out. You could, and make that my card front. I wanted to layer. So that's my light, my light color. This is obviously my dark color with the script. I think there's also one that's got music notes. And then this is more of the medium tone. So you can kind of see my thinking there, okay? It's, this isn't, well, this part up here is darker than this. Okay, so I used this much of this piece starting down here. And on this area, you see, I used the darker piece right here. So I cut this piece, glued it down first, and then I cut this piece and glued it across. And then I cut this piece and glued it on top. So I had my medium, dark, and light. Okay. Now, can you see that friend? You may remember that was in the book. You took those die cuts. There it is, right there. And again, it's blank on the other side. And I thought that worked really well to kind of tuck under this fern. And if you're not going to have a butterfly, you might as well have a dragonfly. So that worked. Now, when I glued these pieces in place, I didn't glue them down so that every piece of it was attached. And when I found what I did in my next step, that was a bit of a problem. So what I did in my next step is I placed this on some scrap paper, actually newspaper, and then I used the Hunky Dory Shimmer Mist, which I love, and sprayed it. And as it was drying, the tips of all of these curled up because I had added a liquid. I had added kind of water to them. So I had to go back and glue them down. At that time, I used the Cosmic Shimmer glue, and I'm happy to say that worked perfectly. But you might just want to glue it down really well to begin with if you're going to use the Glimmer Mist. Highly recommend using the Glimmer Mist because I think it's really pretty. And I didn't have the trouble with the dragonfly, but it was with the ferns because they were lighter. Then I went back because I had all of that gold on it and used our Delicata Gold ink pad and just swiped that around all of the edges just to kind of give it a finish. On the inside, I used another piece and I used this area and trimmed it, and then I took the darker one, as you can tell, that I used on the front, and glued that down first, then this. Then this is a vellum. This is out of the laser cuts, I believe, or out of the book. No, it's out of the book. And then, remember how I told you the stitching? Can we get in close, Jeanette? There you go. So the stitching stopped like this, and I thought how cute to just put this little laser cut heart on it. So this is vellum. These are papers. This is out of the papers, and this is out of the laser cut. So we're using everything. But again, you get this collage look. I did then folded this back and I inked the edges, and then I laid this out and I misted the whole piece. And I like getting that gold on the inside. Let's see if I can show that to you. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. So it's a much lighter coating on the inside than it was on the front. Looks like I need to glue that down a little bit better. Okay, so I really had fun with this set. It was very, very neat. And so just to recap, it is the Arden Creative Studio. These are all by Katie Perchiel Designs. She used to work with 49 Market, and now she's on her own. So she's got the papers, she's got the vellum ephemera, which is really nice, and she has the, I'm here to tell you, double-sided laser cuts, which is also really nice. There is a money saver, of course, because there always is. It's on the right-hand side of your screen. And as I said, you can just click on any of the cards if you want the directions. Especially some of those measurements that might just make things a little bit easier. If you have watching this on YouTube, we thank you. We hope that you will like us. We even more hope that you will subscribe. But then please head on over to paperwishes.com. This is a new product line, and we're happy to be showcasing it. This is, I believe, their second release. I've already bought their third and fourth releases, so those will be coming too. Like I said, we have, where am I is what I'm thinking. We do have all of the information down below, and you can see that. And if you are, as I said on YouTube, just really welcome you. We have about 26 of these webisodes every single month. Whenever we bring in a collection or products, we feel like we want to show you ways that our designers use them so that you've got just a starting point for what you want to create. Because you can say, you know, I like that, but I do it this way, or I change this color. That's great, absolutely great. But we want to give you a head start. So that's another reason to visit us at paperwishes.com. So thank you for joining us. And most of all, thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.